our last meal.
Our last supper.
Right now, Army of Shadows.
Emergency treatment at the Prefectural First Aid Station, which is located at the 7th station on the ascending route. Severe weather conditions at the summit. Please keep in contact with your group while climbing. No communication facilities on the mountain. Please watch your steps so that you don't slip and fall. Be sure to choose the correct trail.
Hello, let's climb Mount Fuji. Back in August, 4 friends and I decided to go on a quest to conquer Mount Fuji because it was something to do in Japan and it was mountain climbing season. But before I go into detail on our epic journey, thought I'd give you some details on Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji is 3,776 meters high. It is the most climbed mountain in the world, with 100,000 people making the ascent every single year. And Mount Fuji is one of the 3 sacred mountains in Japan, along with Mount Tate and Mount Haku. With all this in mind, we set off to complete our ascent, leaving from Shinjuku Station at about 10 AM, with our bags packed full of supplies. Water, sun lotion, warm clothes, torches, onigiri, you know, mountain stuff. We arrived at the Kawaguchiko 5th station where we began to prepare to make our ascent, which involved hanging around for an hour so our bodies could adjust to the altitude because we were already about 1,500 meters up. If you're ever making the ascent yourself, you may want to capitalise on this extra time and visit Fuji-Q, which features the Evangelion world. Anyway, long story short, we had our dinner and then began to make the ascent at 8 PM.
So far we have gathered that Fuji is very warm, very pleasant, and it's fine, it's easy. Callum!
I had to switch to shorts because my pants were too warm.
Your pants? Oh right, your trousers. Sorry, I'll translate. As we can see, he just took off his pants to put on some shorts.
Yes, it was easy thus far, and we're actually making incredibly good time. We wanted to make it to the top in about 5 hours, and as you heard from my Australian friend, pants, not suitable for the climb. Shorts, they are. So advice, don't wear pants. Yet. Another piece of advice, make sure this thought never actually crosses your mind when you're trying to make the ascent.
So we know where we're going?
Oh yeah, we were concerned that we were walking down the mountain as opposed to up the mountain.
And also bear in mind that Japanese people are amazingly cool and friendly.
So, Nihonjin!
It is open from July 19th.
So we kept climbing and it got marginally more difficult as you made it higher and higher and the air got thinner and the track got slightly more difficult. However, that was child's play compared to what was in store later.
It's figuratively straightforward.
Oh, okay, right. We've got to go because 70 people are coming and we want to not be caught up with them.
Look at this light.
Oh wow. Like all of these people are coming.
Yeah, that's why we want to move off now.
Okay. I don't know what you said either.
The road is a little bit blocked.
Oh.
It's at this point in time that there was a break in the filming because we came face to face with what was in store for us. Blisteringly cold winds, no real shelter, and toe-numbingly freezing temperatures. We reached the 9th station and we are anticipating that we could chill there, relax, and find shelter while we waited the 3 hours for the sun to, you know, get up. To our surprise, the 9th station consisted of just a torii gate, which is one of these things. That's it. So we found shelter behind a rock, changed our clothes to the warmest things we had, and decided, let's go to the summit. I can't deny it felt incredibly good making it to the top, despite the fact my fingers felt as though they wanted to fall off. However, there is a vending machine at the top of Mount Fuji. Yes, there's a vending machine at the top of Mount Fuji. You may think that this is absolutely awful, but we thought it was one of the best things, because in that vending machine there was hot chocolate. It was so incredibly nice, and warm and chocolatey, but the oddest thing struck me when I began to sip my hot chocolate that I hadn't actually realised until this point. The air at the top was so incredibly thin. After each sip that I took, I'd find myself ridiculously out of breath. It was an incredibly surreal experience to be out of breath after taking a sip of a drink. In the end, I would have to inhale dramatically, and then quickly take a sip, and then found myself exhaling and panting slightly before repeating so I could actually finish my beverage. So, despite the chocolate delight, the issue still remained that we had 3 hours to kill without any climbing to keep our internal furnaces burning to keep hypothermia at bay. So, 3 of us decided to huddle like penguins, pace up and down, and go near the vending machine to steal warmth. And the remaining 2 people on our party decided to befriend people in the toilets. Well, they actually befriended just one person who goes by the name of Henry, and no, actually, it wasn't as awkward as you might think it may have been. The toilets were the only place on the summit that would provide shelter from the wind, and my friends thought it would be a brilliant place to hide, and Henry had exactly the same idea. Long story short, they bonded, we then met them, we bonded, and then we had some curry. Yes, there was curry at the top of Mount Fuji, and the best bowl of ramen I have ever had. Turns out that the station at the summit opens at about 3 AM, so we got there 2 hours too early. And it seemed everyone else knew this because everyone else was there to pack it out when we arrived.
Exhausted faces of the people climbing up the mountain. Whoa. Oh. Tell him, give us a smile.
You stand up.
No, he refuses to.
And then 4:30 AM rolled round, and one of the most spectacular sights that I will ever see happened. The sun woke up. Have you ever witnessed something so amazing that you realise how insignificant you are? We're all just these dots on this dirt ball called Earth. It was a really humbling feeling that shouldn't make you disillusioned with life, but make you feel excited by it, because we all have this chance to live a full life, complete with meaningful bonds with people from all over the globe. Pushing yourself and seeing what you can do and achieve, and doing it with people that you love, and then sharing it with the world. Whether the thing you share with society be the cure for cancer or a piece of art, I think those 3 elements constitute the things that make up a really good life. So whether you fly a Japanese flag or a British flag, it doesn't matter. We're all the same, and we're all connected. Oh, and for the record, that's actually a sock. I didn't actually have a flag. Oh, and you know what they say about climbing a mountain being difficult? People who say this are wrong, and you know why they're wrong? Because going down the mountain is far more difficult. And that is what we had to do next. Now it was about 5 AM, 21 hours of being awake, and we had to climb down this. The face of the mountain on the way down is covered in ash, which gives you dubious amounts of grip, and we had to shuffle down this for a couple of miles. Oh, and have you ever been through a cloud? I have, and it isn't actually like this at all. In fact, it's quite brisk and a little bit wet, but nonetheless pretty dang cool. So, coming back to the ash, this was by far one of the most exhausting parts of the journey, which one of my friends actually fully embraced by skipping down the mountain. Now, this is kind of odd at first, but it was actually a complete stroke of genius. To conquer this terrain, what you have to do is skip. So, with rekindled spirits, we eventually made it to the next level of terrain, the forest level. Upon surviving the forest level, the plan was to go to Hakone and find an onsen, or hot spring, to soak our aching bodies in. However, it turned out that we didn't actually have enough money to get there. In fact, we didn't have enough money to get home. However, we did have enough money to take us to the next small town, which then took us to a bank, which then took us to a ramen place, which then took us to a train station, which then took us to a bus station, which then took us to Tokyo, which then took us to our house, which then took us to our bed, which we then collapsed on from exhaustion from having climbed and travelled and journeyed for over 24 hours. So, there you go. That's the story of a couple of guys climbing a mountain. If you'd like to see a couple more pictures from the trip, I'll add a link down there. And also, there is a blog written by the guy that we met in the toilet called Henry. And it's a really good blog, and I do recommend reading it if you'd like to know, in other words, a couple more details about the trip. Now, go find your own mountain to climb, and make sure you can get back down when you get to the top. Goodbye.
Son now has my blood and sweat, but not my tears.
What, you didn't cry?
No.
I did.
It didn't move me.
Joking.